All right, everyone. This is Lentropy. It is past midnight, 12:47, in fact, and we want to catch up and sleep. However, me and Lewis here, my old-time casting partner, would like to go over what just happened in the first day of the playoffs before we all go to sleep, and maybe have some particular discussions about the highlights of today, like high points of what we would like to talk about,
Go.
and finally, I guess expectations for the next matches. Yeah.
Yeah, we have like two upper bracket matches tomorrow, and we have two in the lower bracket round two. Hopefully, all of the matches are gonna be best of three starting from now on, since the best of ones are done a while ago. By the way, guys, this is Luis the Magi, longtime partner of Lentropy. We represent Raymond Reviles. It's way past midnight, so I'll just do a quick rundown on this.
Okay.
So basically, what happened today? Phoenix went 2-0 over Liquid. Same can be said from OG against Navi. Sad Ukrainian squad. For the lower, that's for the upper bracket. For the lower bracket, we have Complexity taking a win against Wings Gaming. So that's one less team from China. Alliance was able to overcome Mineski also in the lower bracket. But the biggest surprises came from this other two matches. We have Vici Gaming Reborn actually eliminating Evil Geniuses, and of course, the final match of the day. I really was able to catch up on this by that much, but Empire,
No, don't
the
want to hear
rise
it.
of the
I
Empire.
don't want to hear it.
I'm
I
just
don't want
gonna
to
leave
hear
it
it.
at the rise of the Empire.
No. Secret is no. Okay. All right. Matches I want to
Nice.
review. I want. I would say game two of MVP versus Liquid was enormously electrifying.
Highlight game
Uh,
of the day.
like they really gave it their all. These guys are called LAN heroes, and with good reason. They were down 2 racks, not a problem.
Not a problem with them. Well, if you're MVP Phoenix, then yeah, because they actually managed to catch up on the farm. I mean, the double initiation from for Evan QO followed up by MP really
Yeah.
did a lot. And I also just gotta highlight how they really utilize those four stats from evading Batumbaman's gyrocopter ultimate, the call down, as well as Fata. They were like almost like most of the time they can really get out of the range of that exorcism.
Yeah, actually, for the most part, what happened was they thought that they were going to be fighting on the high ground, but MVP was always looking for fights away from the base. They were always looking for ganks away from the base, and well, they were just able to catch up on the value. You have an overfarmed Slardar, an overfarmed Axe, who just was doing slam jam everywhere.
And how many dunks did he? Did they have a counter how many dunks he did in that game?
I'm not sure. All right. But anyway, it was a super intense game. Those who might be able to review the VODs, I encourage you to watch MVP Liquid Manila
Game two.
Majors Game 2. Super hype.
Do you think
Okay.
that Kuroki trying to play core actually affected? Because Matumba's farm was kind of a bit late if you think of it, since Kuroki was like eating all of the gold in the jungle, and you have mind control as well as Fata, who also needs farm. Mind control was trying to like do the sneak pushes that he tried to do during the early game. He managed to take what, two towers? Actually, Liquid managed to reach the tier 3s at top from MVP at around what, 16 minutes, I believe?
Yeah, they
16
were.
to 15. So they were like really playing at the same phase as game number one. It's just the MVP was, I said they're a lot more prepared to take the fight to Liquid during the late game stages.
During the early part of the game, Liquid was phenomenally performing. And then MVP just held racks. That's kind of how it happened. Eventually, they were able to split push off two racks, and then maybe Liquid got a little too confident. Their gyro wasn't working too hard on the farm. If you check out the farm, it's not really not that impressive, and they just lacked the damage. They did have a lot of damage. However, the burst that they can produce doesn't match what MVP was able to do.
Yeah, because you have like a lot of tank, you have for Evan the Axe as well as QO on this Lardar. So that's two strength heroes that you need to take down, and QO was really quick on that farm, I believe.
But the biggest part about their team fights would be the ability to kite. They kited so much of the fight, and they wasted so much time for liquid strength. And by the time they were done with their ultimates, they just didn't have enough firepower. That's pretty much it.
There's a lot of reset to initiate going on, and probably the rise of the Koreans. Speaking of comeback, though, Alliance versus Mineski in the lower bracket.
Ah,
What a game!
yes. Okay.
Like if you were at the stadium, the whole arena just shook with people cheering for Mineski. People were actually cheering for Mineski to win,
Hmm. Okay.
but the Mineski had a very really strong start. They tried to outpush. They managed to outpush Alliance with the Nature's Prophet as well as they have two prophets, Nature's Prophet and that prophet on their lineup. But Alliance again, the patience coming from from the Swedes, and everyone was just like, "What the hell just happened?"
Okay. Real talk. First of all, the Philippine crowd will support Mineski as much as they can because they appreciate them trying. To be honest, I think that's what's going on.
We all do.
And
Don't you support them for
of
what
course,
they?
okay, yeah, okay. Personally, I would put my bet somewhere else, but I would enjoy the fact that a Philippine team would get through a tournament, would actually top a tournament, like how Execration did back then. Anyway, the thing is, Mineski, they really had Alliance on the ropes on this one.
Mhm.
They had strong advantage. They were able to take tier 3 at 20 minutes. This is something that normally, that's what Alliance does to their opponents.
Yeah,
Suddenly they're receiving their own bitter pill, you know?
they
And
do. They did.
uh, I honestly thought Mineski was gonna have it in the bag. And then
Yeah,
what?
the same problem they really can't end. Well, actually, they almost had it, but the problem is during the Roshan fight, I believe, when S4 had the Aegis, they managed to pop the Aegis on S4, but afterwards, instead of focusing on S4 again, since I believe the ultimate for Raging Potato on the Dead Prophet, the Exorcism, was still on, they threw everything at the Bristleback, at Loda, who already had, I believe, a Crimson Guard at that point.
Yeah, which
Eh,
is terrible
eh,
idea.
yeah, and S4 was able to reinitiate, and that just that was just the start of Benesky's downfall. And one thing also that I'd like to point out is that they don't have any hero to control S4, especially when Queen of Pain already got his BKB. They
Okay,
really can't control S4.
aside from the inability to control the fight, they were just so indecisive about what was the correct objective
They
late
don't.
into the game. They just kept eating the baits from Loda, from S4, and they're not exactly game breaking decisions. They're not exactly things that'll throw the game completely, but they were done repeatedly enough to the
So
point that they would really just wreck their game. In fact, this is exactly what the panel said right after the game, which is I really do feel for Winner when he said he was just disappointed with Mineski, as it's exactly the same problem they've been having for such a long time now.
it does. It does.
Mechanically, their skills are really up there. They can really compete, but they don't seem to have the maturity or the discipline to be able to handle the pressure of the game, or just being able to focus on the game.
Well, that really is their problem. And also one thing, I just know they have Nature's Prophet on Bocarino, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't able to initiate or even try and do any split pushing. I believe there was one instance where Bocanet tried to sneak a push at bottom lane,
Mm-hmm.
but Alliance is really forcing them to react to their own push. They're not making Alliance react to Mineski, to their push Mineski, but it was Mineski who is reacting to Alliance. And also, I gotta give huge props to EGM. Those
Huge
swap,
props.
huge props to EGM, man.
Yeah, huge props to EGM.
He's stole what? He's exorcism, I believe, twice.
Twice.
Then also the swap, and that Sprout to save Loda.
EGM is one of those guys that I do know is able to make the Rubik plays, and Rubik is really a team fight hero. And boy, did he come through for
You really
this
think
match.
you don't think he can contest like Kuroki as well as FY when it comes to handling the Rubik? I mean, I
Okay.
know those two guys are really like well known. I mean, FY during TI 5, those spell steals from FY and his Rubik. But yeah, Bineski kind of like I believe aside from I wouldn't say that they lack experience. It's just that there really is a point in the game where they really would panic and most likely not know what to do, and I am not sure since from what I'm told, one of their players actually was well, they all felt kind of bad, but there was one of them we really who really felt really bad about what happens because they almost had it to win. And you know, one of the cardinal rules for a LAN event: don't get eliminated the first day.
Nobody
And
wants to get eliminated the first
nobody,
day.
nobody, but but
Okay,
there is one team
who
that
always gets the card out. Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
I'm gonna lay it. Team Secret. What
No,
what the
no,
really?
it's not true. It's not true.
I mean, I'm looking at the stats right now, 15 and 8, and this is the point where Puppy actually gave way to like the three cores for RTZ Eternal NBA Universe. They're actually sitting at what more than 100. Actually, RTZ and EE almost at 200 on the CS on the last hits, while Puppy was actually sitting about 44. He didn't play his traditional jungling support that we commonly see for that greedy play from Puppy. He went for the dazzle actually,
Which
but
is a great move in my opinion.
yeah, but what in the world just happened?
Uh, to be honest, I believe this is the first time Team Secret is actually trying not to get their everybody farmed. Like,
Hmm.
they're actually trying to play to more conventional styles, and it's not exactly working for them yet. It's not quite in their stride yet. I mean, first of all, why in the world would you draft a mid lane RTZ
Phantom
with
Lancer.
a Phantom Lancer? Yeah, that's what it's.
Wait, did he have any support in the mid? I mean, I really wasn't able to follow the final match of the day, so
He
I'm not sure how the laning went.
he no, he had TP response and they were never fast enough. He was doing really well for himself though. Uh, however, yeah, being able to do well solo is not as good as an entire team being able to do well. For example, the drafting of a Ricky, a support Ricky at that basically is another bounty hunter.
Better than the Bounty Hunter most likely. When it comes to the early rotations, and Miposhka actually was able to farm his diffusal blade in that game too. So you can pretty much imagine how much money is pouring to the side of Team Empire during that game.
They probably weren't like, really expecting that kind of a support Ricky, and they just threw their entire game in for a loop.
Hmm.
And on top of that, yeah, they're still adjusting to having the ideal way of playing as a team. They're not exactly quite a team yet. I can see them trying. I honestly believe that they put good effort out there, but Team Empire was just always a step ahead on how to bait their opponent. They always baited Team Secret just a little bit better, and they got so much out of it every time.
But one thing that I'm wondering though, they have a lot of matches in the group stage where they can actually try, like pulling off stuff like this, and could have helped them secure a spot at the upper bracket. I mean, I'm just wondering why. I mean, on the group stages, I believe it was Envy who was drafting for Secret, and I'm not really sure why Puppy is letting stuff like that happen, or is basically suggesting that stuff to happen. I mean, you are in a major tournament. This is not just like any other LAN. This is a Valve sponsored LAN event, and
Okay, well, let's just look at it this way. ESL Manila was their other big event here. I believe they were also in Dota Pit. I don't know how well they did in Dota Pit. Oh no, Epicenter. I don't know how well did in Epicenter.
weren't they
However,
eliminated by Navi? I mean,
oh yeah, they were.
yeah, they were eliminated by Navi.
Yeah, they
Okay.
got eliminated pretty early on, I think. Now, obviously how what they were doing in those two tournaments weren't working, so they go on to the next tournament trying something else, and that was putting Envy on the draft. Not exactly what they wanted to do on the group stages, or what the results they wanted on the group stages being 0 and 4 or 1 and 4, and then they again changed it up on playoff. So I would say they're putting up a lot of effort to try to make this work. And what I'm guessing is that they're really looking at is if they can perform during TI. If they can't perform during TI, and then they really need to reconsider their options, or they really need to recompose themselves as a team.
You think because look at it, especially right now, they have two very farm hungry heroes. You have EE, you have Arteezy, and Arteezy, as far as we know, while he's playing mid. He's not really that type of a that playmaker mid, kind of like S4, maybe Dandy, or maybe even Miracle, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like he's playing farm heroes on mid.
He's more of a snowball type, and having
Yeah.
two of these is not exactly a good idea if you want the flexibility that you are required when facing multiple types of teams.
Hmm.
So I understand where you're coming from. Still, it hurts me to my core to see that Secret is out on day one. It's just that it's as if their performance is just going down. It's just it's not true.
Well,
Okay,
okay. I mean,
I gotta pick a new favorite for the tournament because that EG and Secret are out. So I guess
there
I'll
you
go
go.
with one of the biggest matches I'll ever see. A match that I haven't seen since TI3.
China versus Europe?
No.
No. Oh yeah, I know what it means. El Clasico, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, Navi versus Alliance is the game to watch tomorrow.
It happened tomorrow.
Of course, Newbie and Digital Chaos and LGD Gaming versus Fnatic. They're
Yeah.
big games too. They're of course super great games, but being one of the people that witnessed the grand finals, that is TI3,
You really
Navi,
would.
yeah, Navi Alliance.
No, it doesn't matter if you wish TIG or not. If you really want to play some, if you really want to watch some high level, cerebral type of Dota, you should watch Navi versus Alliance.
Is it?
Especially right now that art style has been really getting his groove up when it comes to the draft. I just gotta say about Navi though. Today was their worst day so
The
far in the
it
majors.
it honestly felt like they didn't know what they were doing on game two against OG, and game
Even
one.
on game one. No, game one is they have a plan going on, but the problem is Miracle was getting all those kills on Dendi.
Yeah, as the Haas said, there was only one stat that was important on OG versus Navi. 9K. Anyway, all right. Aside from natural games, I would like to tip my hat to the audience who would always be hyped for any good plays from any team. They just really love great Dota. They appreciate creep blocks. Would you even believe that?
I'm not sure.
They
You know,
do.
during the interview with I believe it was End after Vichy Gaming Reborn's win against EG, and they were just cheering when End was answering the questions, and End was just looking confused on why the hell are people cheering.
All
Uh,
right.
but
No,
yeah,
I guess
that's true.
yeah,
We
that's the
love
first
Dota.
time they're handling the type that is vanilla.
We've proved it back in ESL 1. We're proving it again in Manila Majors, and I guess that's a wrap. Wait. Also, I also
Oh,
want to tip my hat to Sir Action Slacks for delivering those really awesome interviews from the players.
you actually learned something about EGM today. That's
That is
no, because what do you know about EGM? Nobody knows anything
nobody knows
about.
about EGM.
Yeah, and he's a super great player. And finally, he asks that question to Ake, and Ake talks to him about what he likes with food. So we actually get something out of him. So I'm happy about that. He also his interviews, even with I suppose the not so they're not really camera personalities really. Mineski, I don't think so. They're not very good at it, but Slacks he hung in there and he tried to keep it fun.
And take the fun. He did. I mean, I feel very good that they're actually interviewing players who might not be that known to most. I mean, most of the time, we see like interviews on Loda, we see interviews on Pape, maybe Dendi. The popular guys. S4, I'm s- I was looking forward to an interview with PPD just to witness just how salty he can get.
Speaking of interviews, I do hope we can nail some of them soon.
Hopefully.
Quite not quite. It's been a bit of a problem with the logistics lately, but that's understandable. I mean, it's a big event, and I don't know what the organizers go through. We'll just have to work what we can. Speaking of content that we would like to feature, by the way, guys, I'm actually the sort of analyst person behind the GG Network TV Twitter. So
Yep.
be sure to go ahead and follow that, or you can just follow my normal Twitter, D Allen Silva, if you want to just see what I would like you to comment on the upcoming days and playoffs.
Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/RaymarioFiles. Visit our website, RaymarioFiles.com, and of course, our YouTube channel, which will be showing it to you, in which this video or this podcast will be posted. And tomorrow, we're looking forward to more great games, more great interviews, and hopefully, we'll see how the stories of these teams develop. Sadly, some of the top bets have been eliminated for today. We've seen a lot of good fights, a lot of good Dota, and hopefully we'll see more of them tomorrow. I guess that's a wrap.
Yeah,
What do you
that's it.
think? Again, this is Luis the Magi and Lentropy
Yes.
right there joining me tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Wait. We'll see you later for
Yeah,
more
yeah, it's already 1 a.m. All right.
of the Manila Majors.
All right. Good night, guys, and see you next time.